Hi, this is Karl Bryan. Welcome to this edition of Karl's Kick. On this edition, what I'm going to be talking about is the power of goal setting. Now look, I'm not going to be the first or the last person to tell you the power of goal setting, but I will tell you this. Harvard University did a study in 1957. In that study they found that 4% of the graduating class had clear, attainable, written goals for their future. They revisited that same class 20 years later, 1977, and what they found is that the 4% with the clear and articulated written down goals had achieved more in financial terms than the other 96% combined. This is pretty powerful stuff. So what I say is write it down on a napkin. Whatever it is that you want to see in your future, write this stuff down, because what you're now doing is downloading it from in between your ears into the real world. Okay, and now you've got a chance of moving forward with it. You got to schedule it to make it real, right? Otherwise, it's just a dream. So again, you got to schedule this stuff. So essentially, the way you do that is by writing it down. Now, you often hear, the power of goal setting, but you seldom hear the scientific reasoning behind it. The reason this is so powerful is because it's called your reticular activating system. Okay, and the good news is that we all have one. Okay, the bad news is that it works both positively and negatively. Okay, so your reticular activating system is, have you ever met anybody who's been pregnant before? Okay, well, speak to them and ask them if they suddenly saw pregnant people everywhere. Okay, and then that same person suddenly had little Johnny in their arms. Okay, and guess what they now see everywhere? Little kids in prams being pushed around. Okay, so you ever bought a new car? Okay, the red Mazda? You didn't see any of these things before you bought the car and you were looking at the brochure. Suddenly you pay the money, you put the keys in the car, you drive it off the parking lot, and one goes scooting by in front of you, and the other one passes you on the other side of the car. Okay, it's remarkable, and it happens for everybody. But this is basically your reticular activating system. And my question to you is, what do you have at the forefront of your mind? Okay, and again, is this stuff positive or is this stuff negative? You need to make sure that you control those thoughts. So the game plan here, what I'd like to do is I'd like you to write down 5 short-term, 5 medium-term, and then 5 long-term goals for your future. Okay, but let's start with the short-term. And what I always say is never leave the sight of setting a goal without taking some kind of small, at least small action towards its attainment. Okay, super, super powerful. So never set a goal without actually doing something towards achieving that goal. Another thing you might want to do is try attach a why rather than a how, okay, to your goals. Because weirdly, suddenly when we experience a little bit of pain in the world, it's amazing how things suddenly start coming into our real world. Example I have, so for instance, let's just say, for instance, I love my sister dearly. She lives in another city than I do, and I've been sort of threatening and meaning to go see her for ages, right? Got to go see my nephew, need to go see my beautiful sister Darlene. And suddenly, and it's just not happening, okay? So 1 month, 3 months, 9 months, 12 months. It's been 18 months and I haven't been to see her. Well, suddenly, and heaven forbid this hasn't happened, let's hope it doesn't, but if I got a phone call and she'd been in a car accident and she was suddenly laid up in a hospital in rough condition, and she ended up on the other side of on the other end of my phone, or somebody did to let me know that my sister was in rough shape and really wanted to see me, guess what would happen? I would stop everything I'm doing, and within hours, not days, but hours, I would be standing beside her bed. Okay? So essentially what happened is there was a why attached to it, because the reason I hadn't gone to see my sister is I was busy, and I've got the family commitments, and I've got, business commitments that I need to adhere to, and whatnot, right? So all these excuses that get in the way of you achieving what is really important in your life. So what I'm getting at is attach a why, and magically you might find that your goals start coming into your real world a whole lot quicker. So again, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to get a piece of paper. Again, it can be a napkin, doesn't matter, but I'd like you to write down exactly what it is that you'd like to accomplish short term. So how about we send 5 thank you cards to our best clients? How about we form a joint venture with somebody who's already predisposed or already doing business with the target market and the people that we would ultimately like to be doing business with? How about we send flowers to a loved one? How about we make a couple phone calls from, friends in our past we've lost touch with that we keep thinking we should get, basically get back in touch with? How about I'm going to clean my office? They say that, if your office is a mess, your mind's a mess. Okay, well, weirdly, when you all of a sudden clean your office, suddenly your computer starts working better, you start working within your office a little bit better. So that could be an example of some of the goals that you should set for yourself. But again, I'd like you to write down 5 short-term, hopefully some medium and long as well, but let's just do this in bite-sized chunks. I want you to write down 5 goals that you'd like to achieve short-term starting right now. Write them down, work towards their attainment in small, sturdy steps. Thanks so much. That's this edition of Karl's Kick on goal setting. I look forward to seeing you next time.